Welcome to I Am Creation podcast. New season, new faces, and new ways of transformation. Tune in and get inspired with us. Rhonda Swan, powerful, inspiring woman, entrepreneur, author, speaker, the founder of Unstoppable Branding Agency.
We have so much, we do so much, yet to be seen by another woman to say, you are so important. Remember that energy, that feeling of hopelessness. Sometimes you don't always feel like, oh, unstoppable.
Every woman can be wild and share her voice and her truths and her story.
The hardest things happen and the greatest things can come from it. It was like, shoot, all of a sudden, I'm like, yes, that's it. They start and they stop because they get afraid or it gets too hard.
It's a blessing when you have such a space where people honor you and acknowledge you.
And I only want to do epic things with epic people in epic places.
Amazing. Today, I will take you on a journey with amazing human being, Rhonda Swan. Such a powerful, wild woman, one of the owners of world-known branding Unstoppable Agency, world-known speaker, author, and creator of Women Go Wild community. And before starting this conversation, I would love to share the story and how I was preparing for this podcast and a little bit about my insights and the reflection. When I sent the information about you, Instagram link to my producer, he told oh wow, she's a star. You need to prepare it. You need to put the questions, 20 questions, and then you need to choose another questions. I was so excited, and instead of connecting to you and connecting to your story, I realized that I was separating myself because I put you on this pedestal of being a star, and I realized she's the same human being, she's the same woman, she has the same red blood, what is going on? So,
isn't it crazy how we do that to ourselves?
I just want to have a conversation. I want to create a space where two human beings can co-create amazing conversation and just share your story of success, and at the same time the secrets of how you can be such an unstoppable woman, but at the same time have a balanced life and have amazing family. So who is Rhonda Swan? Please tell us. And I would love to hear your story of becoming unstoppable and at the same time meeting amazing guy, Brian, 26 years ago. I want to hear the sushi story.
Oh my God, you have all day? How long is this supposed to go? I'm let's see, I was born 51 years ago.
For sure you will share the most important moments, but really bring the juiciness to your story.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Where would I like to start? And I was born to a drug addict father.
Wow.
20 years old. My mom was also 19, and my mom divorced me when I was 3 years old. I've been in many different scenarios where I was, my mom would take me shopping and he would hide and steal things, but put them underneath my seat, so my mom would either get caught, go to jail, or we would steal stuff, right? And so as much as we say we really don't remember, I remember so many moments of feeling that someone needed to take charge or to be strong for my mom. She was very naive and really young, and I remember that energy, that feeling of hopelessness. And I grew up that early being, don't worry, I got this. It served me quite a bit. I mean, you talk often, I hear this, this unstoppable woman. I'm like,
you are.
But then you get also this reality, right? You're talking about how do we relate to each other and to be the same person. And you get tired. You're sometimes it's not great. Sometimes you don't always feel unstoppable. However, to me, what that means is that really just always taking one step ahead, always taking one step forward no matter what. I mean, the stories are long and deep. You know, we left 17 years ago from the United States, been traveling the world, 7 continents, 50 plus countries. So here we are.
So it was your unstoppable story, right? And when you decide, like, how you decided to create this branding agency, like, what's happened, like, why you decided to be a nomadic and become entrepreneur, like.
Yeah, I mean, so I was a corporate executive with a big pharmaceutical company. My husband is a robotics engineer. So when we met in San Diego 26 years ago surfing, we just knew every day we both wanted to surf, and we're like, gosh, we have these jobs, like this job thing, you know. But I had my master's degree, and you know, he's got his degree, so we wanted to just build something. And I watched a woman put a 6-week-old baby in daycare, and I was, you know, supposed to take on that position of my boss. And this woman walked in about 15 minutes late to a meeting, and she kind of snuck in the back door, and my boss was like, "You're late. You know, if you want to have this job, you'll never be late again." And she was like, "I'm so sorry. I dropped off my 6-week-old baby at daycare, and it was a really hard day." And she's like, "If you want to, you know, put food on this baby's plate, you're going to not ever be late to a meeting." And I was like, that's who I'm going to be. You know, that's who I'm going to be for women, for my daughter. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this. And I went home and I told Brian, hey, I'm going to quit my job because I want to raise a family and not put a baby in daycare. And he was like, what? That's what you do? We just bought a 5-bedroom house. We live in San Diego and La Jolla, and we need your income. And I was like, no. I watched this interview with Steve Jobs. And he said, learn the online market, learn digital marketing. Yeah. And he's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't even know, but I'm going to figure it out. I started working with Perry Marshall, who actually wrote the algorithms for Google. And he's like, you need to learn how to be a copywriter, sell products, Google ads. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. And sure enough, I did. And this was in 2004. Quit my job we were building a brand online without even knowing that's what it was, because there was no social media. You know, no one barely had been working online, if you will, let alone creating a business. And so we were one of the first. And then I retired Brian, and I was like, look, this is really working, building my own brand online. I'm running Google ads. I'm selling personal development products and events. And so I just said, I'm gonna help other people do it. And that's really when things started to take off. And and then we did really well for 3 years, and then we wanted to prepare because we were gonna now we're gonna have a baby, and I didn't want to put her in daycare. So I said, okay, let's invest even more. We were selling real estate and it was doing very well. Let's go bigger. And so we invested in a big real estate project. And right about 2-3 months before Hanalei was born, we found out we were losing everything.
Wow.
So led to all the travels that we're doing, but it wasn't because it was a great thing. We lost everything, and then this baby's born, and I remember sitting there going, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do now? I planned all this. This is the whole point of me quitting my job so I can be with this baby, but now we've lost everything. Do I have to go back and get my job? I thought I had just completely, thrown us in a bad position, but the hardest things happen and the greatest things can come from it,
What was the biggest learning from that situation?
To be resilient and to know that if you have a vision that you can always find your way. And, I think that's what most people will do. They start and then they stop because they get afraid or it gets too hard, and I think that's one of the most important aspects of being an entrepreneur and leading others is knowing that you're not perfect, that you're not on a pedestal, you're like everyone else, right? Yeah. But the only difference is that you're willing to take one more step and another step, which then, of course, allows you to stand up as a leader and to be seen that way. So when you shared that, I was like, wow, I appreciate you seeing me that way, right? Because that is how I also identify myself as, right? Yet when we get to see each other for who we are, we just know they do the same thing that I do every day. They have fears, they have, scared moments, but knowing that the only difference can be between you and maybe someone else that doesn't get there or hasn't seen themselves there is the belief that they can do it, or the belief that they are also at that same level of not just success, but creation, right? God created all of us.
Yes.
And we are all equally amazing. And I think it's just the difference in that belief system.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forgot about it, and we are creating this separation.
Yeah.
It's so good that we have such amazing people like you that can inspire people to become authentic and see this kind of things and, create this connection. Yeah, and tell me more about your core values. And because I know that you have a strong core values and you are bringing it into your business. So how do you keep the alignment with these core values, and how do you say no to people if they are not aligned with what you want to do?
I think, core values is probably a very important a place to start in anything that you do, right? Like, we have an amazing family, and our Unstoppable Family's core values are, freedom, fun, and family first. Like, that's kind of our little motto. But your core is like, respecting other. What is the unspoken rules and laws that you actually have, right? Which is integrity and sharing your voice and being okay with it not being accepted by others. And I think that's being able to stay aligned with what you value and what you want to bring into your family. Because the way we look at business and our family, it's our family. Our business is actually our family. And so it's like, who am I bringing into my family? Do I want someone that doesn't think like us, or that, maybe isn't, the same alignment? And that's, I think, really important in everything that we do. Like, that's why we find community, because our core values is what aligns us all. And we stand very strong to our values. Like, one of my favorite books is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's very simple agreements, right? Just always do your very best, and, don't use your voice against anyone. It's like, gosh, these are such simple right?
things.
Just do what you say. Just have integrity, and that's one of the biggest ones. So but we interweave that fully into what we do in our business and who we bring in to work with. And you asked the question, how do you say no? It's pretty simple if someone's not aligned with your values. And it's also respecting your own time and yourself. When you respect yourself, you can say more no's than yeses, because I realized I was like yesing to everyone, and I wasn't really respecting my own time, and then you get run thin and you wonder why.
Yeah, and what helped you to find this balance in saying yes and no?
Well, just being able to really differentiate between what's a good use of my time and what is, if it's adding, we would say, is this adding to your life? Is it moving you forward, or is it bringing you joy, or are you just saying yes because you want people to like you or people to think that you're great? It's like, I think it's also, you get a little bit older. I'm 51 now, and I'm like, I don't really care what people think about me.
It's so amazing. Not to hear about it.
Yeah.
And regarding this, I'm one of the authors for the Wild Woman book. And I remember the moment when the first magazine was published, the article was published, and oh my God, people will see me. Oh my God, this article should be perfect. People will read it. Some fears came for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you were like building your branding agency and like you became more visible, you were creating the collaborations with stars and people. And I'm sure some fears came for you. What were the fears and how you deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's fears. I have fears every day, you know, like, how am I looking right now? How are people going to receive this, right? And that's, I think, natural. Those moments that fear us the most is the more we become vulnerable and very real, you know? And so, like, when we lost everything in 2008, Hanale was just born. She was born 33 days early. I was so stressed out, and I mean, when I say we lost everything, I mean, we had multiple homes, cars, all the things in California, and we had to sign bankruptcy because we had our name on this big golf course development. The developer fraud took everything and ran, left us with our names on all these homes, no money left in the bank to build them. He just ran. And you want to talk about fears. How are people going to think? Because we had our family in there, right? We had our friends. Brian's parents were involved. And we're like, you know, our ego gets really crushed when you're like, oh my goodness, they trusted me. And how do I be honest? And that's the most important, is to say, this is what's happened. You know, we messed up, we didn't know. And with the more honesty, the more strength came, the more vulnerability came, and the fears, yet saying, okay, we're going to be okay. We're just going to figure it out. So we literally sold everything we owned, and we left with $12,872.62 to our name, and a vision and a vow to never put Hanale in daycare. And that's now going to be 17 years this November 25th that we left. We didn't look back, you know, but we were scared. My goodness, try being brand new parents with a 1-year-old baby and being in a third world country, because we left. We went the first time we went to Hawaii, which his name was Hanale's name, and we were there for a little while, and then we were in Mexico. But because our business is already built online, we were already able to kind of start back up again, but it took a lot. So she going from the amount of money having in the bank to going, okay, we're starting fresh and over. There's where a lot of fears came from.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Yeah. It's like really, you had so much mess, like we can call it mess, but in reality, all this experience helped you to be strong and become unstoppable family and create wherever you created so far. And why you choose, I know that you choose Bali as your home base, and you're living in Bali for 16, 17 years.
No, 10, almost 10.
Almost 10.
9.
Why Bali? Like how, like being a nomadic and having all this life, why you choose Bali?
We were traveling for 8 years in the beginning, and it was all down to where the best surf breaks are. Brian and I met surfing. He's a surfer. It's like, where do we go that we can actually just live really well, be in a great, beautiful community, because surfers are just such a good vibration and a great community. Where do we want to raise our daughter? It's on the ocean. We want to be in nature, and we were living kind of on very small amounts, so it was just the three of us. So we would just go and rent little shacks or stay in little houses, little hotels, and in the beginning we would eat we made it fun, avocado bowls. We would tell Hanale oh, it's so cool, because she would eat avocados and rice, and it was because the ocean was where we wanted to be. And after about 8 years of traveling in about 20 some plus places, we're like, where do we want to go? And Brian and I had been to Bali. We'd already known a lot about it. We'd already been here a couple times. He was here, and then we were there together. And so then we just said, okay, let's go for 2 years. But now it's been 9, and it's just because of the beauty of the people,
Yeah, and the community is here, and the energy. Yeah. And tell me more about the book. I want to hear the story, how the book came, how this idea of the book came, and how this name came, because I know that you had different ideas. Your team had different ideas about the name for the book. how did this book came?
Yeah, so the book series is called Women Gone Wild.
Yeah, we have it here.
Yeah, The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living. And it just started because I was with a bunch of clients and I was sitting at an event. I was like, wow, you know, most women are not doing this as often.
Yeah.
And we're like, wonder why. And this was now over 6 years ago, I think, 5 years ago. And like, I wonder why they don't, you know, why aren't we doing this more? So I said, why don't we write a book? We'll all just share our stories. And then I was then connected to Diana Wentworth, who was the one of the authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul. And so I'm like, oh, okay, great. And, you know, Diana shared a bit about Chicken Soup and how successful it was. So we're like, let's just all do a short stories of all of our stories. And so that's how the first one came about. The book initially was called Designed to Lead, The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living. And then we realized it was still a bit corporate. It didn't have a really strong feel.
Masculine.
It was very masculine, you know? And we all recognized that that was our old self. You know, designed to lead, like, oh, we're like, that's not what we want anymore. We're more women that have gone wild, but have recreated ourselves. And so we're like, Women Gone Wild, yeah, because it's also a play on, there's an old video series from back in the 80s called Girls Gone Wild, which is like a polarization of the women now. And we're like, okay, if somebody thinks that and they ask us, you know, many questions about why the name of the book, then it's got to be the right one. Yet it was so powerful because it held so much energy. And yeah, so the first one launched, it did great. And, you know, we're like, okay, book's done. I'll go back to doing what I was doing and building brands and helping people launch courses and, you know, launch their businesses. And then I was COVID almost hit. It was right when COVID hit. I went to work in the morning and I had actually decided that I was going to remove my implants because I used to be a professional bodybuilder and athlete, and I got implants when I was in my 20s. And so I'm like, okay, this is the last bit of like identities that I wanted to, you know, release. I had been doing a lot of work with shamans and sitting by fire for hundreds and hundreds of hours. And, you know, and I was like, okay, so this is the time, good COVID time, you know, there's gonna be no one in the hospitals because there was really no one in the hospitals. And I had the surgery, but it wouldn't heal. And it just wouldn't heal. And one morning I was going in my office and I was getting ready to talk with the clients on calls. And I looked on my side and there was a big red spot. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And I felt tired, and I'm never tired. I was like, why am I not feeling tired, you know? And I, you know, was working for like 3 hours, and then I came back and I looked, and this red spot had moved up almost to my heart.
Wow.
And I'm like, all of a sudden my body just started to shake, and just shake. And I couldn't stop. And I was going into sepsis. My body was fully infected. And Brian sends a video to the doctor, and they're like, you have to get her in here right now. They rushed me to emergency, and I had to go into emergency surgery. And the reason why I share this, because this is really where the book has come to being something even bigger than it was initially started. And I was saying goodbye to my family because people had been dying in the hospitals in Bali, and because they didn't have the right antibiotics, there wasn't enough medical, that people couldn't leave if they needed to get flown out. And here I'm like, couldn't stop shaking, and they're like, we have to take her to surgery. And so I remember the doors closing, and I was like, Lord, please, God, let me live. I have so much more work to do. I'm here for a bigger purpose. My daughter needs me. And then I woke up, and I woke up in this really unusual state. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm alive. And my heritage is Native American and Italian. And so I had brought my drum, I had brought my copal, my incense. And so they wheeled me back into the room, and I'm like a little groggy, but I'm like, oh my God, praying, thank you, God, for letting me live. And I grabbed my drum and I just started singing.
Wow.
And I'm praying and I'm singing these, you know, Native American songs that I've learned by the fire. And all of a sudden, I was in this awkward state, and it was lucid, so I could see, like, it's just like you and I were sitting here, but I'm playing my drum, and all of a sudden I'm like, and these faces of these women are coming at me, and it was like witches, women that burned at the stake, you know, suppressed voices, these spirits of these amazing women, but they're like coming at me, they're like, we want more from you. We need more from you. We need a way for you, because I was asking, like, what can I do, right? Like, what is my gift? How can I serve? And it was like, we want you to do more. And it was like, I felt like I had this instant download. Like, I can still see their faces. And it was like, oh, we're gonna do a book series, and it's gonna be wild. And wild is a woman who redefines the meaning of wealth. So wealth, intuition, leadership, diversity. It's a series, it's 4. And it was like, shoot, all of a sudden I'm like, yes, that's it. And I just got instant, the energy, the excitement, and I was healed. Like, I truly, it was like I was given this
second chance
on life, you know, but they're like, if you're gonna come back, we need more. We want your help. And so that's really how the Woman Gone Wild book series came to about. We've already launched Wealth and Intuition. Leadership is the book that you're gonna be in.
Yay!
It's coming out next year. You know, and it's like, how do we come from all these experiences that we've had and you know, we created in our life, how do we then help become something grander for someone else? How do we shine so brightly in the inside so that someone goes, oh, how did you become so unstoppable? Asking these same questions, right? So that's really what this book's about. It's like giving ourselves and women the space to share that story so that others can open it going, how can I be like that too? You know? And so, yeah. And now we got 2 books left.
Thank you for sharing the story. Really, when you were telling the story, I had like, you know, I don't have a lot of hair, but I have goosebumps and I feel my hair was like, oh my God, it's such an amazing story. And really, I'm so grateful for the God to give you this second chance and to bring you to this like big mission so you can come back and inspire other people. And I can tell, like, I am now one of the authors of the book. The infinite amount of support that I have from you, it's just incredible, like, to feel so supported. I feel your heart. I feel how much you have inside, and you're such a big giver. And like the way you share with the world from the heart, the way you inspire other people and like share all your stories, it's incredible. Like, really, it's incredible, and thank you for this opportunity to be one of the authors for the book, so I can also share my voice. And this is the space where every woman can be wild and share her voice and her truth and her story to inspire all other women. And it's incredible, the book that you created, and like all this series with leadership, with the intuition, etc. I think everyone can get their own message from the book. Yeah,
and you know, it's interesting too. I think most women we have so much, we do so much, yet to be seen by another woman to say, you are so important. Like, your message is so important, you know? And to give that space, because the moment we allow ourselves to acknowledge that is then giving permission for the next woman to acknowledge the same. You know, and creating that beautiful space for someone to go, I see you.
Yeah, and it's a blessing when you have such a space where people like honor you and acknowledge you and giving you the space to share. It's like, it's incredible. I feel, as I told you, incredibly supported by you, by your team, and God, thank you for this opportunity. I feel blessed.
So excited. We're going to have such a fun year. And all the things that we've got going on. I mean, especially the things that you're doing. And, you know, it's like, just watching also, it's like, oh my gosh, because we met in Nepal and you were quiet, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, look at Alena, here she goes, you know?
It's like really from the moment in Nepal with all the difficulties that I had with my first creation event to get in your call, like, Mom, do you want to be one of the like authors in the leaders book? Me? Sure? Yes, let's talk.
so good, yeah.
Getting all these articles published and to getting all the connections in Dubai and other countries. It's like, oh my God, I was just like a normal person before, but now I'm like so...
You're unstoppable now.
Now I'm wild.
Wild and unstoppable.
And how, like, with all this unstoppable energy and being so wild, how you can keep the balance to be yourself, to be a mother, and to be a businesswoman, and to be a creator and inspire other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the easiest answer. Like everyone's like, oh, they've all got it worked out. I'm like, no, because half the days I'm either in my robe all day and working on my computer, I'm on my phone, right? Or nights, like last night, one of my clients is in the VMAs in New York City, and I was up late at night because they're preparing to go to these big events. So my clients to live in Bali, and some of them are in the US, but it's just about being aware as well, and knowing that when you do need the time to take it. And I used to not do that. And like today,
how does it feel when you don't do it?
Yeah, and then you're burning both ends of the candle, and you're exhausted and you're not present, Like today, this morning, I was like, man, I really don't feel amazing when I woke up, and I usually feel amazing. So I was like, I'm taking a meditation at 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, okay. And I did, and then my guy came to get my hair done. I was like, okay, I just needed that. Yeah. I slept all night, but I still needed that moment. And otherwise, I used to make myself feel bad about needing time or not being able to power through, when in reality, that's not what it's about. It's not what it's about.
Are you doing just a meditation, or is there some other practices that can help you to stay present, to be aware, and to be in this flow, and like bringing this all creation into the world?
Yeah, I mean, breath work every morning. Brian and I do not only our prayers, but then our meditation. Just even after we've woken, just to really visualize what is it that I want my day to look like. What do I want to feel like? Who do I want to feel great with? And that practice. And then of course we use the cold plunge. Going to the gym and just giving ourselves a bit of space to do that. Yeah. And that's kind of part of our just daily activities, and then coming to events and going to retreats, and at least 3 to 4 times a year to different events or retreats, because it's just like refuels your cup.
Never ending story, right?
Yeah.
You learn every day.
Yeah, and last year in December I said, look, I'm making a commitment. I only want to do epic things with epic people in epic places.
Amazing.
Right? That was it. And then it was like, boom, we went to Nepal. Yeah. Then we were in Japan. And then we were in Cuba. And then we're in Antarctica. And then we're in Buenos Aires. And it was London. And it was like, whoa, okay, we're doing it. But the moment you call it in, because you're just like, that's what I want, the universe just wants it to work for you as well. Yeah.
The universe co-creates with you because you put this intention, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's really the biggest trick, is just being present and aware, and knowing when you're tired and saying it's okay.
It's okay to be tired. So I want to have my space.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And what is your big vision? What legacy do you want to leave in this life? Like you have the agency, you have the book, but what is your passion? What is the bigger vision?
Yeah, I mean, my bigger vision is that, especially for the book, I want to see 80,000 women in a coliseum sharing their wild stories, singing Beyonce, Pink, Christina Aguilera, right? It's like Katy Perry, just women, just like, yes, and at all shapes, all sizes, all ages, and really just bringing it, like Tony Robbins style energy. I always said, that's what I am. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm going to do it. Right. And that's so it's always nice to look above and to see. And I think that's the energy I want to bring for my daughter. I want to, be that mother that can keep inspiring, but also like go for the things that they really want out of life, and to not be afraid, to fall.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I think, another really big one too, is like, it's okay, you can make it, but you can also, that's why they're, you know, climbing mountains are not just all up. You just recently climbed, although you did go all up. Kilimanjaro, I was like, oh no. But you, like, even you were like, his moments were so hard at times, and, you know, and that's part of the journey. So my bigger vision is to really just keep bringing life and pouring more life into others.
You're doing it. It's such a great mission, and you are doing it. I can feel it. It's like so much, not only light, but so much love also, and support. And I know that you learned it from your mother, because your mother was supporting you a lot during your childhood. And I want to thank to your mother to bring in this like value into your family, so you can support all the women. And like, let's do this concert. I mean, like.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, why not?
Why not? Like, why put? Let's like universe. We want to do it. So it's. I think it's a great idea to do this kind of things for the women. And oh my God, I feel like, you know, I feel so inspired, so energized by this conversation. And thank you so much for sharing your authenticity, your truth, and all these stories that can inspire women. And I'm sure a lot more women will have this courage to make this step and become more visible, and to share their truth and their story. And like, I am ready to sign up. I'm your disciple, and let's do the concert. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. And thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoy meeting Unstoppable family, and see you in next episode.
Be unstoppable!